Randolph-Macon from 134 miles down the road in Ashland, Virginia, Lynchburg in their own backyard for the second straight year. Hornets seeking NCAA tournament berth number 12 in a row. Randolph-Macon seeking to make history and get to the big dance for the very first time. A whole lot on the line on this ODAC championship Saturday afternoon. A beautiful, although a little bit chilly, very different from what we had for the semifinal against Roanoke on Thursday. But here's what stayed the same. I'm Sam Graham. That is Evan Gates, and we're here to bring you the action today. Evan, whole lot to go over in this game. Let's get your initial thoughts on the matter.
It's championship season, baby. We've had so many sports go to the final stage. This is a big one. First-timers, perennial powerhouses, you got a little bit of everything. But rest assured, Randolph-Macon comes into this game knowing they belong. They have beaten some big-time opponents. That Washington and Lee game goes down to the final goal. They get it done. And so, yeah, Lynchburg has the 12, or will be potentially 12 NCAA appearances in a row. They don't care. They're going to come in and battle. They want that berth this year.
Well, these two teams did meet earlier this season. Lynchburg got the win on this field. They did it in convincing fashion, 15-6. But let's run through this real quick. Randolph-Macon also lost to Hampton-Sydney and Washington and Lee in the regular season. Well, in the last 3 days, they beat both of them, beat them both by 1 goal apiece. Picked up 2 of the biggest wins in their 53-season history all in 1 week. They are certainly ready to do it again today. And hey, that senior class already broken a program record, 44 wins in their 4 seasons on campus. Let's take a look at some of the numbers getting us into today. Now, Evan, we know for Lynchburg, it really starts on the defensive end. Talked to Steve Ulrichs after that win over Roanoke. He said, hey, every game in, game out, we want to hold our opponents under 8 if possible. They've done that twice this season against ranked opponents. They've done it 10 times in total. And Lynchburg, when holding their opponents under 10 goals, they're 10-0.
Well, and you got a veteran presence in that defense that we talked about. Tyler Hadley's been incredible in goal and just continuing to lead the conference in those goalkeeping categories. So you come into this game with expectation from your defense. I think Randolph-Macon has to come out early and make sure that they can really just use that momentum, because on the stat sheet, they're pretty similar teams when you look at production, but obviously Lynchburg wants to come in with momentum. They beat Roanoke in a big way, held some of the top scorers in the conference, if not the nation, to a very small number. So you know that they're ready to go. It just starts with the energy up front.
Well, and Evan, we'll go ahead and we'll cue in a couple of your gateways to success. We'll do it like this. One stat that's not on the sheet for us is that man down defense for Randolph-Macon. Phenomenal. Holding opponents to just 13% conversion rate on the power play. That's one of the top marks in the country. Lynchburg's got to keep their head. And secondly, and you referenced this already, this is a 4-quarter game. Lynchburg, does not matter what they do in the first half. This team was down 9-3 to Washington and Lee a couple days ago.
Well, and we know that it just starts with Randolph-Macon for staying gritty. That's the first thing on your screen. This is a team that knows the lead's going to change. It's a championship. You have to expect the unexpected, and those teams that read and react the best are going to be the ones who end up with the title. We know these two teams have done it throughout the season, and now that you're here, it's just 60 minutes that matter. And then also keeping your feet. This is a Lynchburg team that makes you pay. If they get that 1-2 step, we saw it multiple times in that last game. Dylan Wolf had a few goals where if he gets to the middle in isolation, just forget it. It's over. And so Randolph-Macon has to be smart defensively. For Lynchburg, knock them off position. You know, this is a team that is going to come in. They want to have their will, and Lynchburg's defense has just been so impressive the last few games. From a momentum standpoint, they're showing teams what they can do early. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet, folks. It's just about the hustle plays down the stretch. And then playing 4 quarters. I mean, 60 minutes is a long ball game, and we know when we look at different games throughout the season, Lynchburg has gotten out to quick starts. They led the entire way in that regular season matchup versus Randolph-Macon.
Randolph-Macon has led for exactly 4 minutes and 43 seconds in this ODAC tournament so far, yet they are 2-0 and here in the championship game. Let's introduce you to a couple of the key cogs in the wheels on each side. First with the visitors, and who else can we start with but Jack Smith, one of the top scorers in the ODAC, second in the conference in points, but he's actually not necessarily the go-to guy from an offensive perspective. So for that reason, we're actually going to switch gears, and our player to watch for Randolph-Macon is going to be Mr. Austin Payne. He had 5 points in that win over Washington and Lee earlier this week, including the game-winning goal. He had 4 goals on the day.
Well, maybe the most important point in Randolph-Macon history. I mean, that's a pretty good superlative, and you come into this game just trying to ride that momentum. We see the scores up front for these two squads, and there's not a crazy number that sticks out. It's a lot of even keel offense, and so you just know that if everybody contributes, it's going to be a big spot. And then who else than Tyler Hadley on this Lynchburg side? We already talked about what he has been able to accomplish in that last game versus Roanoke. 5 goals allowed, but 15 saves, gets the win. It just felt like every single play he was involved.
Well, and he's been on a heater as a whole as of late, too. Over his last 8 games, 63.3% save percentage. Tyler Hadley's been great now in his second full year as the starter of this Lynchburg team, but he's kicked it up a notch here as he comes up on the tail end of his career. Let's take a look at a little bit of how these two teams got to this point, and we'll start by looking at some highlights from that Lynchburg win over Roanoke earlier this week. Again, that was on Thursday on this field. And Evan, you already mentioned Dylan Wolf earlier in our pregame show today. You know, you hear a lot about the roll dodge in lacrosse, getting your defender off balance, taking advantage when they close out a little too hard. Got Dylan Wolf slamming on the brakes, watching his defender go by, and then firing one home. Watch those dodges today if you're Randolph-Macon. That was one of your keys to success. And then you look at Riley Hastings, the scoop and score, one of those plays that gets the whole team fired up. The defense loves it. Obviously, the offense loves it. The whole team, the whole squad, Coach Kadelka, they're all bought in on it. And then, of course, Tyler Hadley, who we already referenced. He's been fantastic as of late. If there's 15 saves against Roanoke that you referenced, 75% save percentage. He was locked in and anchored down the Lynchburg defense that held Roanoke, the second best scoring offense in the country, to just 6 goals, 13 below their season average. Then you got Randolph-Macon. How about them shutting it down against Washington Lee? You get to see that game-winning goal with about 2 minutes left from Austin Payne, and then you get to see those final seconds tick off as Randolph-Macon makes history. They're not only seeking their first conference championship, this is their first appearance in the game which goes back to 2002. Lynchburg, on the other hand, as we watch them celebrate their win over Roanoke, has played in 18 of the 21 meetings held all time of this championship bout.
And they're just on a streak as well. They're going to try to keep this one riding out. It felt like when you watch that Roanoke game, they know what's at stake. This game matters to them, and it has to start with the opener at the X. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Evan Gates, I am Sam Graham. We will see you on the other side of this break. For Face-Off, Will Robertson and Michael Kraus meeting at the X to get this ODAC championship underway. Randolph-Macon from 130. Welcome to historic Schellenberger Field, the site of the ODAC Men's Lacrosse Championship game for the second consecutive season. Now, Evan, Lynchburg had not hosted this game since 2015. This time last year, they hosted the Generals of Washington and Lee. Classic game, fell by 1 goal. The Generals were the top seed in this year's tournament, but were outdone and outdueled by this very own Yellow Jacket team of Randolph-Macon. We mentioned both of the teams they beat in the ODAC tournament so far, they lost to in the regular season, so don't put any stock in the regular season result with Lynchburg. We'll try not to reference it as much as we can. We'll introduce you to the goalkeepers. First, on the home side, once again, it will be Tyler Hadley, second full season as the starter for Lynchburg. And then on the other end, it will be Jack Toomey. Face-off underway. Michael Kraus for Lynchburg takes it against Macon's Will Robertson, and we're underway.
Fresh mindset for both teams coming into this one, too. As you mentioned, WNL, that game earlier in the season for Lynchburg, they fall by 1 again. So obviously they are lucky to have a new opponent. But Randolph-Macon in this for the first time ever, looking to make some history. And obviously when you're trying to go through uncharted territory, you don't have anything to reference. They're just going to go forward and try to win this one. 13
teams in the ODAC, only 4 have won the big one in lacrosse. Randolph-Macon trying to make it 5 and be the 5th different program to reach the NCAA tournament in so doing. Lots of D3 championship games today to keep your eye on. First shot of the day is from Lynchburg's Riley Mitchell. It is knocked down before it reaches Toomey, and Riley Hastings, that's a scary sight, scoops up the loose ball, not in a scoring position though. Jake Rust is, and he cashes in. Jake Rust, 4 goals on Thursday against Roanoke, and now 5 in this ODAC tournament. 56 seconds gone by in the title game.
He makes it look so easy on some of these plays. This team is 7-1 when Russ scores 3 or more, and so to get him going early is going to be so important. You know, we've talked about it this season. When he is the man to watch, it seems like Lynchburg is in such a better spot just because he takes over the entire game.
Hear the phrase in fantasy football, boom or bust potential. It's been a lot more boom for Jake Rust here this year. Personal best for him in goals and points. That was his 45th goal of the year, and now his 2nd straight season leading the Lynchburg offense in goal scoring.
How about that? You barely get a minute in. I think Lynchburg, obviously, they have been in this spot before, so you don't know how many jitters there are going to be coming in, but it is a championship game. Everybody can feel it. Just to see that one on the scoreboard has to feel good for Coach Kudelka's squad.
So here we go. First look at the Randolph-Macon offense. They are led by Jack Smith, but plenty of contributors here. Bubba Bowen, a guy that netted the game winner over Hampton-Sydney on Tuesday. And then, of course, as we mentioned, Austin Payne had a big day on Thursday against WNL, including the game winner in that one. It's Jack Smith matched up against Lynchburg's Zingo here on possession number 1. And, Evan, we'll see what Lynchburg goes to defensively. They went strong, zone heavy in that last time out against Roanoke, and it worked well.
Well, and you see this game is going to be decided as Macon gets on the board in a hurry. It's just about possession, being smart with your shooting, and the Yellow Jackets are on the board.
The Baltimore man, Avery Tankersley, is one of those contributing characters for this Macon offense, and he answers Jake Rust's goal with one of his own.
It's impressive stuff. We talked about it earlier in the season. We won't dwell on it, but Randolph-Macon never led in that game, and so just to have equal footing with Lynchburg early is going to be important. It starts at the face-off. These two teams really struggled in their last games. Randolph-Macon lost the face-off battle 21-8 versus WNL. You still win that game. Lynchburg loses that 12-9, and so you just know that these two teams are ready. It's just going to really come down to the nitty-gritty.
So we'll see how Tyler Hadley reacts to the first shot that he sees today, gets by him. Haven't seen that a whole lot this year, but again, a veteran player, 5th year at the school, 4th year in the program, 2nd year as a starter. He's certainly seen lots of different situations. Lynchburg will need him to bounce back and be on his A game. Hornets back on offense after the Kraus face-off win, his 2nd of the day. Riley Frankel came in and took that 2nd look for Lynchburg. Hastings wrap around and wrap it in. Hastings puts Lynchburg back up 2-1, 12:29 to go in the first.
Hasty scoring early, and that's what you love to see. Lynchburg has had that wraparound option so many times this season. This offense opens up. You saw Dylan Wolf at the top. Mike Allen playing some really tight defense. That's going to open some other doors, and we see just timely stuff from number 24.
And Hastings so dangerous. He operates primarily out of that X, sort of your quarterback, plays opposite of Riley Mitchell, the two Rileys at those points of the Lynchburg offense. And a lot of times teams might put somebody there that's going to be the cutter and the recipient of those passes on the route. But Hastings, while he can do that, he'll do it on his own a lot like he did on that last play, and it pays off. Hastings, a goal to match Jake Rust. A reminder, if you're just joining us, Avery Tankersley, the lone goal scorer for Randolph-Macon. Every possession has been a score so far. That's a lot different than that Roanoke game we saw on Thursday.
Well, 3 for 4 to get this one started between the two teams. And, you know, if you just put it in the right spot, sometimes you're going to find those options. It's just going to be the second or third scenarios where if these teams can start reading and reacting, we're going to really see a defensive presence.
Good trapping here from Randolph-Macon. Forced Schmidt to give it up to Vandenberg. Now back to Schmidt. Dodge to his left. Pass inside was a beauty. Vandenberg couldn't corral it. Second attempt, same spot, same result. Riley Hastings twice as nice, and Lynchburg is up 3-1.
Democratic offense early. You see everybody looking to the goal, and it really just starts with being in the right spot. Again, Vandenberg doesn't get that one, but who else? The Riley Hastings. He's on your doorstep ready to deliver.
So Lynchburg comes out firing, but we know Randolph-Macon not going to get discouraged. They trailed by 2 in the fourth quarter against Hampton-Sydney, scored the last 3 goals in that one. They were down by as many as 9-3 late in the second quarter against Washington and Lee before putting together one of the biggest storm-back attempts in the season, certainly within the conference, but really across all of Division III. Maybe Tufts being upset by Hamilton is one of the only results that might rival that upset pulled by Macon, a 10-3 run to steal that one on the road. Battle for this face-off, and it's taken by the X-Man, Michael Kraus. He jogs off. That gets the sideline going, and 3 of these first 4 possessions belong to Lynchburg. Check that, 4 of the first 5.
We talked about it early, what these teams are going to try to do to gain momentum. Mentioned earlier, Lynchburg does win that face-off battle versus Roanoke last game, but it just felt from a momentum standpoint that they were never able to have that full handprint until the second half. They're doing it earlier in this game. Randolph-Macon just can't let this one slip from an energy standpoint.
And Macon has struggled at the face-off the last couple of games. Season low against Washington and Lee. Now that should impress you. Only won 29% of the face-offs and still gutted out that win. Slamming on the brakes and spinning out as Mitchell reset Rust up high. Great defense from Mike Allen. Drives Lynchburg's top goal scorer to the ground. And excuse me, it was not Allen on defense. It was Grant Sobel. Mike Allen will bounce from player to player. You can kind of see the length. He's down there right in the center of your screen. Big number 23. 3-time USILA Team of the Week honoree. 3-time ODAC Defensive Player of the Year. Player of the Week, I should say, but keep an eye out for Defensive Player of the Year as well. Dylan Wolf, DW slots one in. All Lynchburg, a block party on Lakeside Drive through the first 5 minutes.
DW, don't worry, my friends. That is a pretty one from 55. You get him in the right spot, the possession's over. We talked about it in the pregame. He loves picking those opportunities. Keep firing away.
Hornets hammering that right side of the field, just pestering Toomey in goal from that side.
It's an interesting look, too, because Lynchburg, we've seen a few passes to the other side, but it's really in and out. We've seen a few wraparounds as well from Hastings. They're making a day so far on the right. We'll see if Macon starts cheating over.
Frankel goes in to take the X from Lynchburg again, but gets whistled for the false start. Now, he's had a rough last couple of games, but we know the talent is there. Actually led Lynchburg in faceoff percentage last year as a freshman. Now, he was not the primary taker. That was still Kraus. Frankel, a guy that he can get going, just got to stay at it, but Macon does take it off the infraction. Just their second offensive set of the day. They did score on their first.
You have to trust at this stage of the season, too. We know these two teams are on pretty big win streaks. Lynchburg 7 straight, Macon 4. So you cannot get rattled at this stage of the game. We mentioned 4 quarters are going to have to be played.
I believe that's Jack Smith down on the ground. We'll check that number, though. Check that. It's number 12, Austin Payne. Again, our player to watch. He was phenomenal against Washington and Lee, instrumental in pulling that upset. Happened away from the play.
It's something you never want to see for anybody on your squad, but Austin Payne, one of the main contributors on this Randolph-Macon team.
So while the athletic trainers tend to him, we'll take a quick break. Hopefully nothing major there, and we'll be back in just a moment. It's 4-1 Lynchburg with 9:26 to go in quarter number 1.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
So Austin Payne helped off the field by those athletic trainers for this Randolph-Macon team. Again, that contact away from the ball, they'll get him checked out, and we'll see, hopefully able to return. One of the star players on this Randolph-Macon offense, and not only today, but if they're to win today in advance, a guy that certainly you want to have out there available to play, a junior as well, one of these veterans. But again, now it's that next man up mentality. You hear it all the time. Whiffing on that pass. Transition opportunity for Lynchburg. It's the long stick, Ulrichs. Watch out. Ulrichs to his left. Hastings. Now Meadows. Spin. Drive. Head down. Shot. Give it to him. Luke Meadows. Chomping at the bit. Lynchburg's transition offense on point.
Fresh field in front of him, and he just takes everything and makes it look easy. Lynchburg has had everything going their way in the Hill City. We're just 6 minutes in, 4-goal lead for the hometown Hornets.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Rock and roll Luke Meadows. Lynchburg loving every second of it. Transition offense, it's a high percentage. Look, they're up 5-1 on Randolph-Macon in a game that has really not only favored Lynchburg from a momentum standpoint, but they're on home turf trying to get it done early. But the Jackets are far from out of this thing.
Violation at the X once again. We'll check the flag. May have a man down situation here as the flag did come out. Yeah, it looks like we will. Vandenberg. No, he does not go for the box, so we're even numbers here. No, Kraus will. There we go. Okay. Flag came out, figuring somebody's got to go over there, but everybody's looking around like, did you do it? I didn't do it.
Who wants it?
Yeah, Michael Kraus, he'll take a knee for 30 seconds. Great opportunity here for Macon, converting about 44% of the time on the man up, and they'd love a goal. This is not the danger zone, and we know this team's never out of it, but now you got one less option on offense, and you're trailing 5-1. Certainly not what you wanted right there. A turnover, an unforced error, and Lynchburg's going to take it right back with full numbers in 15 seconds.
Those are the ones where if you're Coach J.B. Sheridan, you do not want to see that early because Randolph-Macon has to get every break they can get. They might get one back. No, Lynchburg's going to be there. But obviously those are the plays that can change a ball game. Now the Hornets might have an open opportunity. They'll just slow things down.
Big time play on the far side from Alex Blanchard. So the defenders, even though did allow that Macon early goal, have made some big plays elsewhere along the field. Hustle plays, obviously Luke Meadows, the hometown kid, getting it done on the fast break look. Picture-perfect offense there in transition for Lynchburg. That's something that's come a long way throughout the season for this Lynchburg squad, and as they've unlocked it the last couple of weeks, sort of a new facet of the offense you got to watch for. Now the Hornets will give it back away. Hastings unable to corral behind the goal.
You mentioned this transition offense. That's where you really want to have fewer question marks going into the postseason because those are chances that if teams are going to gift you with that, you have got to capitalize, especially in the first half. That being said, though, we know Randolph-Macon really hasn't found the scoreboard much yet. They are 1 for 1 in the shooting category, but if they can just get those shots off, there might be a flurry ahead.
So back out comes the Macon offense, scored on their first possession, held scoreless since. Haven't had a lot of possessions, and no saves yet for Tyler Hadley. It's been turnovers or score a goal pretty much. Dodge on the backside, defender on his back. Nothing comes open for Pritchard, so Macon will work it around. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Right outside the doorstep, pump fake. Hadley bites on it, and an easy-looking goal for Bubba Bowen. But he does it with the footwork and the eye work, gets Hadley to bite, and sneaks it past him.
He was like, wait a second, am I really this open? And he's going to take it. That's going to be a big one for Macon just to be able to steal a little bit of energy back. And you know, in this senior season, this is what Bubba Bowen wants to be able to go out and do. You just got to be in this time after time, minute after minute, get this entire bench back into it.
Bubba Bowen feasts in that spot, goal line extended. He's sort of hidden a little bit from the clear field of vision for Hadley and is a way to exploit this Lynchburg zone if you're able to feed it inside to him. Now, that can be tricky, but, again, when you can get it to him, it's effective. High percentage look. Lynchburg will have a chance to answer, though. Under 7 minutes to go, quarter number 1. Hornets up 5-2. A much higher scoring affair than we saw on Thursday. Quick ground ball scooped up, and looks like there will be no issue clearing. Look at the long strides for Mike Allen. Surveys the scene, the long stick. He'll pass it back and jog off.
He has such a good feel for the game. If you're Randolph-Macon right now, I don't think you can have too many warning signs either because you have won games in single digits this year. They beat Hampton-Sydney 9-8 in the regular season. Granted, you did give up 5 to Lynchburg in the first few minutes, but we are seeing them really start to find their pacing with this offense. Just have to really be connected in passing.
Here's Smith. Left dodge. Again, beats Meadows off the jump, but then the passing gets away from him. Another ground ball for Steve Ulrichs. What a senior campaign he's having. Surveys again. Not going to force it. Contact on his backside, gives it up. Watch out, Vandenberg. Excuse me. It is Vandenberg with space. Macon will stand tall. Lynchburg will back out.
That was great work from Ulrich just to do enough to slow down this offense. You know, turning defense into offense on one side can bring those transition opportunities, but we've even seen it from Tyler Hadley this season where he really can slow things down and just show everybody else this is a moment where we can take some passing, take our time, and use the clock.
And when that space constricts on the offensive attacking third, that long stick becomes a real disadvantage. It's a lot easier for defenders to poke it away. So credit to setting up a set for Lynchburg, and Jake Rust will cash it in for him. Makes good on it. Rust, his second of the day, and well on his way to that magic number of 3.
Iron sharpens iron. Everybody on this Lynchburg offense going at it, and then you just see it's almost like trying to one-up one another with how well they have been able to produce offensively. Rust is going to be in his spot again. He doesn't take much time. All he has to do is slingshot at home. Lynchburg's back up 4.
So the Hornets had been running up the score from that right angle. Rust has scored both of his over from the left side. Lynchburg poking holes, making it look like Swiss cheese inside the goal. Not a save in this game yet for either goalkeeper. Two good goalkeepers. Again, of course, Tyler Hadley leading the conference in goal against average and save percentage. This ball going to be turned right back over. Dom Zingo trying to get the defense set. Lynchburg did have numbers. Macon was unable to take advantage of the infraction.
If you remember the physicality from not only this game, but so many and during the ODAC schedule, we're going to start seeing a few plays off the ball here, and you just got to understand, take it one play at a time, short-term memory. We saw a little bit away now, but Randolph-Macon in a good spot.
Everyone gets a touch. Here comes Jack Smith. Somebody got their hand in the cookie jar, knocked that one out. May have been Dylan Schuster.
How about the hustle from Dom Zingo going after it?
We'll stay on this end. Tankersley will insert. We'll note Ryan Salazar out there right now, the freshman, 5'9" freshman from Arnold, Maryland. He's in there playing in the spot of the currently injured Austin Payne, one would imagine. That one gets knocked haywire. It will stay on this end, knocked out by Lynchburg, and then keeps on rolling across the track. So a long rundown for Jack Smith. Of course, the Lynchburg bench area not going to help him out.
Part the Red Sea. It's going to be so many of those plays in the second half you might have to see, because obviously from your camera perspective, you see everybody on the other side in the student section loving every second.
Massive crowd here today. I'd venture the largest of the season, so the atmosphere fits the billing. Tankersley, defender on his back, goes to the bounce shot. Tough angle, and we'll stay here once again. Extended possession here for Macon. Now can you make something out of it? Put that elusive goal on the board. Cut this thing back to 3 goals. It's Salazar, the rookie. Pass inside. Bowen with a defender on his back. It's Ian McCarthy, and he jars it loose. Another timely play from the Lynchburg defense.
So much hustle from this Lynchburg team. Randolph-Macon gets a few bites at the apple, and you got to like that opportunity if you're Coach Sheridan a little bit better than that early play of really just staying too urgent offensively. They're getting passes and getting good shots, just not falling yet.
How about Ian McCarthy? Last year, a second-line midfielder on the offensive end for this Lynchburg team. Had double-digit goals. Was the only Hornet to appear in every single game last season. And then now as a fifth year, feel like things are pretty shored up on the offensive end, so his playing time is actually coming as a reserve on the defensive end. A versatile player that's found his way onto the field. You keep punching that clock, you'll find your way there.
McCarthy is always one of those players who is just going to be in the spot in the big games for Lynchburg. It's not going to be huge on the stat sheet from a defensive standpoint. It doesn't matter. Production is high, and Randolph-Macon may be getting away. The flag does come in behind the play.
Late flag and comes in from behind. The near judge had no issue with the check. Now it was in the back and sent Vandenberg to the ground. A tough check, but looks like Lynchburg is going to get another opportunity.
Spencer Vandenberg, these last few games, if you remember that Roanoke matchup, it seemed like every single defender on that team wanted to get just a little bit of extra energy against him. He is so tough.
Randolph-Macon going to cheer for that one. The flag actually goes down against Lynchburg. It's going to send Charlie Evans comes out for the Hornets. Unless I'm bad lip reader, maybe that was just a gesture picking up the flag.
Or maybe no penalty. Was it reversed?
That's my assumption because nobody's going to the box. But the Randolph-Macon crowd was with it. It's going to stay Lynchburg ball. But nobody's going to the box. We stay even numbers here. Only one man-up opportunity in the game so far. It was only for 30 seconds and came off the face-off against Lynchburg's Kraus. Here's Schmidt. Great job closing those gaps again. At the point of attack of this defense is Mike Allen sealing it off and forcing the turnover against Lynchburg. He's not going to get a CT for that, but in our minds we know he was really at the point of making that happen.
Well, Lynchburg loves going to their left in that situation. We've seen so many shots from that point, and so Randolph-Macon checking the scouting report. They know what to do to try to shut that down. Now those second or third passes are where the question marks arise. Can Lynchburg turn something else into those plays that slow down?
Pritchard taking his time, letting this thing develop, and now he'll make a run at it. Trying to outrun Blanchard. Gives off to Smith. Smith backs up with 45 on the clock. 1:47 to go in the first. Been a long first quarter.
It's that championship mentality. It just feels like every second's a grind. Everybody going at it. Ooh, what a move.
Dodge sends Lynchburg defender to the ground, sent the jump ball up, and Salazar, credit to him, tried to jump up and receive it. He's unable to. Big time contact. Lowering the shoulder is Mike Allen. That baby is clean. Shot on the other end. Smith gives it up, and that's a gimme that Bubba Bowen is going to want back.
Mike Allen is getting into it with everybody.
And he's got to keep those emotions in check, jawing back and forth with the Lynchburg sideline. They got familiar with one another in the last game as well, and he has come out here and played phenomenally in this first quarter. Certainly has something to prove, in addition to just being one of the best defenders in the game and the conference.
Well, you saw after that play, too, he looked straight back to his bench. He's just trying to get his teammates involved, and sometimes it's just more show-and-tell stuff. He is so good at not only performing on the field, but just from an emotional standpoint, hyping everybody up.
Lynchburg can run this out, but wouldn't imagine that they will. Only about 7 seconds, 6 seconds between shot and game clock. Game clock has a little less on it. Passing around, working around, block made. Good save by Toomey, and that'll be the first of the game. He kicks it out of harm's way. Stay on this end. 26 seconds to go in the first. So Lynchburg have some late quarter magic in them. Already leading 6-2. Jake Rust has 2 goals for the Hornets. He's not on the field right now with 12. Schmidt sizes up, goes right methodically, goes back out with 7. Slipping, but Holman, a look, a spin, a shot, saved by Toomey, and that will do it for the first quarter. An action-packed first frame, but it does see Lynchburg take a 6-2 advantage into the break. Second quarter, back in just a moment. No shortage of emotions, no shortage of physicality, and no shortage of goals on Schellenberger Field.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
If you want to know your customers, shop where they shop. Live where they live. And spend time with them as neighbors. With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
Well, let's take another look at this hit from Mike Allen. Nothing dirty about it. Allen lowers the shoulder and sets up this shot attempt. Jack Smith, we know he racks up those assist numbers. Might have been better off going ahead and taking that one himself. But that's what having a good goalie like Tyler Hadley will do. You might second guess yourself, pass that off. And Bubba Bowen, though, still probably wishing he could have that one back.
Well, Mike Allen started the Ferris wheel with that hit. And then obviously just from a connect the dots standpoint, you love turning defense to offense. But Lynchburg gets away with the break, and we're seeing them really take off with this face-off battle. It's been a big one, and Hadley can run. He might be on his way.
That's dangerous. Look there, and then Hadley gives it away. Not on the same page with Dylan Wolf. Either that or the pass just got away from him. Now that's better than it could have been, because had Salazar poked it away from behind him, you got an open net and a couple making offensive pieces back.
Hadley's normally so smart in calculating when to go and when not. We saw one play versus Roanoke where it kind of got away behind the net. Granted, the game was at a spot where it was a little more comfortable for Lynchburg. Now, if you're Randolph-Macon, you just got to come out and really start firing away. We didn't see our first save of the first quarter until 14 minutes and 30 seconds in, and the Macon Yellow Jackets get two big ones, and so you understand they're in a good spot.
Obviously, Jack Toomey let those 6 goals by, but as you said, Evan, comes up big right there at the end and keeps Lynchburg from stacking on to that 4-goal lead. Now Macon has a chance to cut into it. Tankersley not being given an inch. How about that defense? Scores anyway. Now that's one that just makes you slap your head into the ground. What a play. Avery Tankersley sticks with it right through the teeth of the Lynchburg defense. I mean, Kyler Mahoney all over his back. You can't teach defense better than that. Mahoney right there with his stick in the breadbasket, and Tankersley, he's got that low center of gravity, powers through it, scores the rock anyway.
We saw a hands on head after that one, and it's so tough to have that break, and now Macon trying to make it 2 or 3 straight.
Big goal to get them fired up at the outset of this second quarter. Lynchburg again got the ball first. Tyler Hadley turns it over. And you throw in those 2 big Jack Toomey saves. Of course, he got the Bowen shot back. It'd be 6-4, but either way, Macon has cut it back to 3 and has the ball again.
It's hard to not play that what-if game, right? Because especially when you go down in a deficit early, doing everything you can just to solve the equation, but Macon is getting better offense now, and they're just powering through. We're seeing in these one-on-one battles, Lynchburg is still playing well, but maybe if they start overplaying it, we might see some open looks on the backside.
Logan Sensabach, haven't really called his name today, but we'll call it now. Sensabach sneaks another one by Hadley, and Tyler Hadley searching for answers, but right now searching for them in all the wrong places. Yellow Jackets have snuck 4 by him. He is yet to record a save, and all of a sudden, don't blink, it's 6-4.
The Swarm performing, and that was a big-time play from a big-time player. You saw a little bit of isolation, and as we said, when you get that pocket of space, you cannot be afraid to shoot it in this one.
Not a goalkeeper's dream today. 10 goals on 18 shots between these two teams, and out of the face-off, here comes Macon again. Mentioned it is a 4-quarter game. If ever there was one, do not count these guys out. Team of destiny type vibes, and of course, Randolph-Macon may not see it that way. Again, in that win over Hampton-Sydney, set the program record for wins in a season with 14, and now getting whistled, I believe, for the offsides there is Macon. Empty goal. Can Lynchburg exploit? Toomey hustling back, and he'll get back in position.
Well, when you're Randolph-Macon, we talked about this in the pregame show, you got outshot 42-33. You lost the ground ball battle 39-24. Lost your face-off 21-8. Everything in that WNL game points the other direction, yet you still found a way. And so forget everything on the scoreboard right now. Just go play one possession at a time. I don't think that their fans are worried at all.
Dylan Wolf pass inside. Vandenberg again. Lynchburg foiled by Jack Toomey. Now he came in today with a slightly lower save mark than Tyler Hadley did, but he has been the guy so far. He has saved the last 3 Lynchburg shots in a row.
It's big-time stuff, especially when you saw that one could have very easily snuck away on the line. This time, making off the mark there and to get another crack at it.
Jack Smith tossed in the bouncer. We'll stay on this end. Now, if you're Macon, feel a little bit more like you're playing with some house money. You've shifted the pressure of this game a little bit, put that game pressure on the home team. And shooting a very good percentage for what road teams typically do here on this field. 4 of 9 early on is actually a little better than their season average, and it just got better. Here come the Yellow Jackets swarming once again. They're in the hive and feeling just fine. right at home. Macon has cut it to 6-5, 3 unanswered.
Ryan Pritchard just starting to paint that corner. Hadley couldn't really do much. That was such a quick shot out of the stick. And now just a 1-goal ball game.
Get your popcorn out, Evan. This is what the people came for. Randolph-Macon, winners of 4 straight, the last 2 by 2 goals combined. They have been the cardiac Yellow Jackets, if you will, to steal one from Kimball Walker's UConn Huskies. But their fans have been loving every moment of this journey. They're here in full support. I mean, we've got dogs out here. Everybody's out in support. Phenomenal atmosphere this year's ODAC championship game. It's been a great season, one of the premier conferences in the country for ODAC lacrosse. Latest D3 Lax bracketology projects 3 ODAC teams into the field. Now that bracketology put together assuming the higher seed wins every conference championship game. So if Randolph-Macon wins, who knows? Maybe the conference looking at least 3, if not 4. Roanoke Maroons kind of sitting there on the hot seat today. We were talking about this pregame, Evan, quoting that piece said, Roanoke, huge Lynchburg fans today, and had to tweet at Dan Kaplan myself and say that's not something you hear every day.
Well, and it's probably not something you love after you just lost that game Thursday, right? But logistically, we're going to sit with it for a few hours.
Russ, good pass, got through a couple defenders. Toomey's there again. 4 straight saves for Jack Toomey. That has fueled this Macon run. Don't you forget it. Steps up into the shot of Dylan Wolf, and that's one shot, one player. I'm not getting in the way of it.
Well, we talk about offensive runs, right? When you really start heating up, goalkeepers can have that same dynamic. You just see it into your stick 1 or 2 times, and you really just start growing in confidence. Lynchburg has not had a save yet. Now, granted, Hadley hasn't been tested as much, but Randolph-Macon is shooting 5 for 10, 50%.
Lynchburg at a 50% clip right now as well. An offensive coordinator's dream. Ryan Rohde down there calling the plays for this Macon squad. Spent the last couple seasons with Denison, so Lynchburg very familiar with him. Hornets have played Denison 3 times over the past 2 years, twice while he was there, and then, of course, Macon within the conference is a frequent foe. But he has cracked the code on the Lynchburg defense in this second quarter. All 3 goals belong to the Jackets. Now here comes Darren Palma, ground ball. Transition opportunity for Lynchburg. Even numbers. Palma recognizes it, and they'll get the offense back out there.
That was great work off the ball, too, from Alex Blanchard. Just does enough to almost set that pick and get it off and running. Those 50-50 plays have got to matter in this first half, especially when we talk about the face-off. We talk about the ground ball battle. And if Lynchburg gets a few more of those, just trying to break this run, get a shot, get a score, and then really see it materialize these next few minutes.
Here's Grant Voigt at the top of the Lynchburg offense. Surveys again. Hornets taking their time on this possession. Haven't really set up any looks and already halfway through the shot clock. Aprandy thought about it and then fires back to Voigt. Stutter step, spin, gives off again. 25 on the shot clock. Lynchburg has not eyed one up yet.
Wait for that cut down the middle. We've seen that a few times if they're going to try and cut.
Hastings through a couple defenders' sticks. Lynchburg down with 13 seconds to work with. First step, spin move, nowhere to go. Holman has no options. Great defense by Brody Kent. Now Schmidt. Lynchburg's just got to fire one. Time coming down, and Jack Toomey stops it again. Have yourself a day. Toomey got beat 6 straight times to start this game. He's now gotten Lynchburg back 5 straight times.
He's had 5 saves in really the last 8 minutes because, as we talked about, this game was saveless in the first 14.
Now you start to see that gritty nature of this Randolph-Macon team, and you can tell why they've been winners of their last 4 straight, particularly those last 2. Getting that first ranked win of the year over Washington and Lee. Generals number 12 in the final regular season USILA poll. Lynchburg number 15 in that same ranking.
Don't forget some of those runs in that WNL game. They're just so persistent. And, folks, they started the season 8-0. Closest deficit in those 8 games was 3. And so when you just have these hot starts, you understand you have a team that can really make a mess in the ODAC. We didn't really see it until later in the season. Now they are hot and ready to go.
Several screens attempted to be set by Bubba Bowen. Jack Smith didn't like the look there from behind the goal. Here's a spin to give Tankersley some space. Pump fake. Shot open, and he'll take it. We are knotted up with 6.5 to go in the first half. A 4-0 run for the visitors. It's a frenzy on the Macon sideline.
The Tank just taking it home, and that was about as easy as it gets. You saw Hadley just overcommits a little in the wrong direction. 6-6 on the board. New ball game, folks.
And again, you're now scratching your head if you're down there on that Lynchburg sideline, and you're just, hoping that Tyler Hadley can get his head kind of right for this game. He's had a phenomenal season. He had one of his best games of the year just the other day against Roanoke, and actually tends to have his best games in the biggest moments. And there's a long way to go in this one. Plenty of time for him to get locked in. But right now, Macon's got the answers to the test on that end of the field. They have stormed back to the tune of a 4-0 run.
Got to certainly regroup and recover, but face-off victory always helps. We've seen a few of those timely stuff from Lynchburg, and Kraus doing everything he can to keep this team at least in this ball game. We say that Lynchburg's been leading, but it just feels like Macon really has momentum now.
Evan, you'd think it'd be tough and tiring to continue to come from behind game in and game out, but Macon looks just fine, almost more comfortable playing from behind. We came out of that second quarter break, and the Jackets turned on the Jets. A reminder, Lynchburg 31-1 against Randolph-Macon since 1994. Now the one came in last year's regular season battle. They got the best of Lynchburg 13-9.
Nifty pass from Vandenberg, like the option, just poor execution, but Lynchburg does hold on to this one. Got 15 on the shot clock.
Finn Schmidt takes one in the back and hits the turf, misfires on the pass. Battle at midfield. Use the broom and sweep it. Keeps it in the offensive attacking third for Lynchburg. Big moment for Schmidt, and he misfires. Shot clock violation against Lynchburg. Sound of the horn, and that's another stop. The 7th straight for this Randolph-Macon defense.
The Yellow Jackets are just building brick walls every single possession, and Lynchburg just trying to crack the code. Now, if they would have gotten that score, probably would have really lit a fire in the crowd, and so great work once again from Randolph-Macon just to be timely in their execution.
So Lynchburg looked unstoppable on offense in this first quarter, and it looks like a whole different team now in the second. Defense forces another turnover on the far side. Darren Palma got in there and made something happen. Now Lynchburg just trying to end this run that's climbed to 4-0 for Macon to tie us up. Grant Voigt advances on the clear. Here comes Lynchburg again. Some extended time for that second unit of midfielders.
You wonder with the Hornets having won 9 ODAC championships and Randolph-Macon not in this game before. You talk about vibes and you talk about nerves, but I really think that in this second half, it almost plays to the favor of Randolph-Macon, knowing that if we're still in this game like so many of these others throughout the tournament, we certainly have a chance to come away with it.
Well, Super Bowl is used as sort of a derogatory term between opposing fan bases when one feels like they're better than the other. I don't think that should be the case. It's okay if this feels like that big moment for Macon, because it is. Behind the back pass might have been a little too nifty from Mike Allen, but we'll stay on this end. I will say probably lucky for Mike Allen that did not result in a turnover, because, again, him jawing back and forth with the Lynchburg sidelines would have been not a point in his favor.
Not making friends with the coaching staff either. Those quick possessions, you don't want to see those. At least extend this out. We've seen a few on Lynchburg's side. They've been unable to get those shots, but Hadley has his first save of the day.
And hopefully that'll sort of ease him into the water here of this game. Stepped into that one, didn't rush it, looked cool, and tracked that ball right into his net. Stops Logan Sensabox's shot. Sensabox was looking for his second of the day.
Hadley needed that one.
Certainly did. Lynchburg can get him going again. This defense has already made some plays in front of Hadley. Just got to limit some of those shots from finding their way into the back. Riley Mitchell makes it count, and that's what you got to do, right? Tyler Hadley gets the save. You got to come down and score for your offense, and Riley Mitchell does it. Did not score in the Roanoke game, but he'll make it happen here today.
Haven't mentioned his name very much so far, but what a big moment to come through right outside halftime. And that was about as easy as it's going to get. Just cruise down Main Street and knock it home.
It can be, I don't want to say easy to forget about Riley Mitchell. Again, he's been here for some time, his 5th year with the program, and well over 100 goals in his career. So that's probably not the best way to phrase it, but just by nature of where he kind of stands and what his role is in this offense this year, he is maybe sometimes the forgotten man. Didn't play in the first 4 games. The stats don't jump off the page at you, but he is the leader of this Lynchburg offense and one of the leaders of this team. Really can't overstate his impact, and most times when you need a timely goal, they're going to go to number 1. Hit overtime game winners last year against Washington and Lee and St. John Fisher in the NCAA tournament.
Well, and such a facilitator as well. Still 27 points, what you would say is a down season as Hastings is off the mark, but you still just see that committee mindset from Lynchburg, and this has been on both squads. They have offenses that are very deep. Randolph-Macon's going to take a timeout. We've got 2:17 in the second quarter. It's been a great one for Randolph-Macon, just a 1-goal ball game.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got 1 professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Randolph-Macon got its 4-0 run going at the tail end of the first quarter with a pair of Jack Toomey saves. He then went on to make 5 in a row that aided in, again, that 4-0 run for Macon, tied this thing up at 6 apiece. Lynchburg broke the tie just moments ago on their last offensive possession. A Riley Mitchell strike put the Hornets back on top. Macon has never led in this game, but led for just about 2.5 minutes against Hampton-Sydney and right about 2.5 minutes against Washington and Lee. Those have been the only about 4.5 minutes they've led in the ODAC tournament this year.
And we've certainly gone past the comparisons of the regular season game because the way they fought back in the second quarter really shows they're going to keep this one tight down the stretch.
5 seconds, and that one almost gets blown up. Somehow Schmidt gets on top of it. He's stopped again by Toomey. Timely save by the Jackets. Lynchburg desperation mode once again with the shot clock rolling down. Hornets have just 1 goal in this second quarter, enough to vault them back ahead. But Macon has certainly controlled stanza number 2. Now imagine Randolph-Macon in that last time out was first talking about keeping things, holding serve on the defensive end, getting the stop they needed, but probably mostly about this possession right here and what they want to draw up.
Well, the assignment for Lynchburg is pretty evident. You have got to escape to halftime. You want to have that lead going into the huddle. Obviously, it's just 1 goal, but you want to feel like the work you did early in this first half paid off. And if you're Macon here, you equalize, and it's just a fresh 30 minutes. Keep the slate blank. They got a little bit to do so, 29 seconds on the shot clock.
Keep an eye out. Macon pulled Bubba Bowen out of the spot next to the goal. Then he knocks over his defender and gets the feed. Misses again from point-blank range. He just bowled past Henry Merendon. Maybe took him by surprise. Knocked him off his feet. Bubba Bowen coming in at 6 foot 235. But
not somebody you want on your doorstep, that's for sure.
Well, he scored on the first look he had from there. Again, he likes that look, but he's missed the last two. Hastings going to make him pay. Third of the day, a hat trick for Hastings.
Heat up in a hurry, young fella. That's a big-time goal. 8 seconds on the board. Look at that. That's just framing it perfectly. Bottom right, number 24, locked and loaded.
Hastings and Dylan Wolf, those top 2 point scorers for this Lynchburg team, they hooked up on that one. DW got the assist, and Hastings finishes it off. And there's the margins, right? You know, Bubba Bowen misses that one from right in close, a spot he likes when you look at the heat map. And here's Kraus looking to tack on another. That would have sent this place bananas. Toomey, he's just going to throw it down the field and get out of this first half. Some drama there in the closing seconds. Kraus, we know he'll put his head down and go. He only has 1 speed, but he is denied. A big quarter for Jack Toomey and the Yellow Jacket offense, but Lynchburg does enough to hold on to the lead. It's a 2-goal ball game with 30 minutes gone by. 30 minutes on the other side of this break.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
I wanted to be a physical therapist probably starting about halfway through college. I love the concept that exercise is medicine. You know, we're starting to discover that exercise really can remedy many of the things that we thought that only surgery or only drugs could remedy in the past. When the student comes here, it's because we believe in them, it's because we want them here, it's because we believe they'll be successful. The faculty here are devoted to their development, not only academically but also professionally. We're not so inundated with things that we don't have time to make students one of our highest priorities. We have your back. We're gonna help you through that. If you're willing to work, then we're willing to put the work into it and the effort to help you succeed.
I was really attracted to Lynchburg primarily because my dad went here. He is an alum, so I kind of had that close tie of being interested in the school. And the school had what I wanted to study. I knew I wanted to help people in the area of health and wellness, so the health promotion program was definitely a program that drew me in. And from day one, I've been in love with it, and I wouldn't have chosen any different. I have never had better professors or teachers in my life, and I think here at the University of Lynchburg, the professors definitely care about their students, especially in the health promotion department. These professors want you to be educated, want you to have the experience, and just want you to feel confident going into your career path following your collegiate education. You just feel like you're cared for here and that you matter, and that no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful. And the people here really want to be here, and everyone has a purpose, and it's just a great environment to be in.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. Just you know, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later.
My name is Davion Washington Jr. I have the honor of serving as the student body president. I have 5 little siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 siblings, and they look up to me. I'm setting the tone. I get to develop myself, make myself a better individual, but also I'm helping future generations, not even my family, but just future generations in general. I found my passion here. I found, the love for what I want to do. I just really had an amazing time here. It's changed, like, my outlook on life. You don't have to be famous to change lives. You don't have to be on the big screen or whatever. I change lives now, and I hope to continue to do that. Just same way that the University of Lynchburg has changed my life for the better.
All right, my name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I love the arts. I love acting. I love entertaining.
Hadley a step slow, and Tankersley has his second goal of the day.
He wants that one back in the goal. Hadley really looks like he got something on it, and this one just casually rolls on in. But Randolph-Macon's going to take it any way they get now. 4-goal deficit, and they're certainly not out of this one with 12 minutes left.
That ends the drought, which extended back to around the middle of the second quarter. They scored those 4 straight in quick succession to tie it up at 6 apiece, and then an extended Lynchburg run gave you the 11-6 scoreline. But we break that quickly. 2 fast goals here in this final quarter. Ian McCarthy takes the ground ball off the face-off. Another win alley for Lynchburg. Wolf back pedals. Swings back to the best defensive players in the conference. Imagine he'll probably be okay, but just gotta shake that one off. Does not feel good.
Looks like he's holding on to his rib. Can't tell if it's a hand, but obviously, like you said, you don't want that to happen. Randolph-Macon already losing pain to an injury earlier today.
You're always cautious and wondering, too, if it's the ball or the head of the stick that got him. He's going to take a seat. Visible frustration, but does jog off under his own power. He'll be attended to by the Macon athletic training staff. Meanwhile, they'll try to get him ready to go quickly, and his offense will try to go quickly to put a little last-second pressure on Lynchburg. 4:07 to go. Hornets leading at 12-7.
So Randolph-Macon here got inside 4 minutes. You got to just start shooting. It's got to start somewhere. They've been unable to really complete these possessions.
Oh, now this is a big one. This is a big call. Ryan Pritchard just scored a goal for Randolph-Macon. Officials may wave it off. Jack Smith slipped, got mobbed on the ground. What a pass. He's going to get an assist if the goal stands. Slings it out of the fray with one hand. And Pritchard, credit to him, putting it in the back of the net. Take a look at it again there, but then you immediately see that official on the right side of your screen waving his hands.
As important of a conference as you're going to see all game long.
Both sides just waiting. The Lynchburg defensive players were already jogging down the field, while most of the Macon squad putting their hands up in the air in signal of a goal. Here we go. Here's the call. J.B. Sheridan does not look happy on the Macon sideline, so I'm imagining they're going to say foul occurred before the shot and no goal Macon.
Wow.
But we'll see.
One of the biggest momentum shifts that you're going to have.
Frustration from Pritchard, now an explanation for both coaches. Those of us watching with us live, welcome back into a pivotal situation here. Lynchburg leading this 12-7. Now Randolph-Macon just put one in the back of the net that may be waved off. Extended conversation first between the officials and the coaches now. We're going to stay on this end. So it looks like no goal. We'll stay at 12-7, and that's a backbreaker there for Macon. What a heroic effort from Jack Smith, senior leader of this offense out of Stevensville, Maryland. He goes down to the turf and slings it back to Ryan Pritchard, his classmate, who puts it into the back of the net, but it will not count. Now Macon's got to try and do it again. 3:38 to go. Time is running out.
Got to do it in a hurry, and they're keeping them on the outside.
They will put another one in there. Avery Tankersley steps up and goes low to high and scores it for Macon. So that brings them back within 4. Now, for those of us rejoining, we will remind you now, without Austin Payne, one of the best offensive players on this team, and also now potentially without Mike Allen. He is not on the field right now, got hit by either the ball or the stick of Charlie Evans and had to be taken over to the sideline. He is taking a seat with his helmet off and is in visible pain. Not sure we will see him the rest of the way. Still being looked at by the Randolph-Macon athletic training staff. Now that's either the head of a stick or a ball coming at you at full speed. I mean, that'll sideline you.
Mike Allen's a guy who's not going to be on the sideline very much either, and not just because he's such a strong player on the field, but his hustle is probably going to keep him out there for 60.
Face-off goes the way of Macon, 3:15 to go in this one. 12-8, Lynchburg is your score. Riley Hastings has 5 of Lynchburg's 12. Phenomenal day for the sophomore at Alpharetta, Georgia. Hornets trying to make it last. This will go a long way. Luke Meadows out in space. Third pickoff by Lynchburg right out of the air. And now the Hornets can milk some clock.
Hastings downfield was almost just telling him, do not pass, do not shoot, keep it in your stick, let's make this one work. And now Lynchburg, like you said, fresh 60 on the shot clock now. They can take their time and really put this one away. We see Randolph-Macon obviously just going to hang back. You got to start having some urgency if you want any shot at it.
Lynchburg searching for that dagger. Dylan Wolf taking the Macon defense all around the yard. A near turnover, scooped up by Vandenberg. Trying to spin out of trouble. He's walloped, and a penalty flag's coming down. Timeout on the field. We'll check it in a moment. We will take what is likely our final break of the day. 2:09 to go. It's going to be Lynchburg ball coming out of it with a 4-goal lead. Lynchburg can taste ODAC title number 10.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together. Together, let's go. Come on. Let's go, keep going.
Sorry, that's the best for it. Sweet. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Good one. All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here?
It's been a week for Randolph-Macon, one to remember, and it has been a day for them as well, but trailing 12-8 with 2:09 to go, you just have to wonder if the magic has run out. Lynchburg gutting this one out through this fourth quarter. Macon's put pressure on them, but now down Austin Payne and Mike Allen and trailing by 4 goals. It just might be too big a hill to overcome. Hastings running away. Macon's got an empty net. It is desperation time for the Yellow Jackets. Hastings shedding off defenders. Pump fake. Back the other way, just wasting time. Loses the ball, recollects. Hastings has 5 seconds on the shot clock. Lynchburg will burn a shot. It's saved. That's a reset of the shot clock. And Dylan Wolf, the 5th year, is there to pick it up. Macon all over his back. He gets away. Lynchburg will burn another timeout. Get everything cool, calm, and collected, and make sure the confetti guns are ready to fire. Lynchburg is 87 seconds away, and Evan, we'll stay right here for this one.
Well, listen, that's as big of a play as you've seen all day. Yeah, you're up 4. You're really expecting to get to the finish line now, but that is essentially the dagger. Dylan Wolf, who else? He has been so sensational in this postseason run. We've talked about Hastings, and in that situation, we've seen it earlier this season. W&L came onto Schellenberger Field, and they really struggled in that situation, trying to make one too many passes, trying to keep everything alive. If you're Lynchburg, just run this thing out literally, and you're going to get there, maybe championship number 10.
Lynchburg, we mentioned, they have been in this game time and time again. You're not going to find anybody more seasoned for the moment than these Lynchburg Hornets. And this season's had its ups. It has had its downs. Lynchburg started the year 3-4. Since March 24th, they have lost exactly 1 time. They're 87 seconds away from extending their win streak to 8 and potentially hosting the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament. The selection show is tomorrow. They will await their official fate. And obviously the ODAC champion does get that automatic qualifying bid. But it almost doesn't feel like an ODAC championship without the Lynchburg Hornets in it. They've only missed it 3 times. They have won 2 of the last 3 championships. Had last year's back at Schellenberger Field for the first time since 2015 and lost that one in the rivalry game. Washington and Lee came into this house and took it away. And Lynchburg now right on the verge of taking it right back.
It lit a fire, didn't it? That was one of those games you just felt like if you used it constructively, you were going to have a really nice run on the way. Lynchburg takes the end of this ODAC schedule and runs with it.
Dylan Wolf putting his shoulder into defenders. Arguably the toughest guy on a team full of tough guys here for Lynchburg. He has not given up the ball. Wolf, shot, give it to him. That'll do it. Dagger, Dylan Wolf. Thank you very much.
That's the bell ringer, folks. Lynchburg just going to run around with it, make it a track meet. Okay, I'll slot that shot away now. No problem. Dylan Wolf, hands in the air. He's feeling like it is time to win a championship.
Dylan Wolf had that ball start to finish, shaking off double team after double team. He never gave up the ball, never lost it once, never lost his footing, knocked down a couple Macon players in the process. How fitting that he gets the goal that will seal the deal on this one. See a crowd anxiously awaiting a celebration as Lynchburg going to win the first ODAC title on its home field since 2015. Feels a little bit sweeter, doesn't it?
They've been waiting for it for sure, and you saw field hockey in the fall get it done on this field. It just felt like the vibes were waiting for this lacrosse team. They've been in the picture every year. NCAA quarterfinals, they have something sweeter on their minds.
It's been a fortunate year for us, Evan. Last summer, you go with baseball, national champions, ODAC champions, memorable run that'll never be forgotten. Field hockey this fall for myself, and now men's lacrosse. The two of us here together. 17 seconds away. Vandenberg keeps it in bounds, scoops it up. Will Macon give him some space? No, they're going to run this one down to the very end. They were constructing a storybook season. Lynchburg just tore out the last page for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. Lynchburg atop the mountain, your Hornets, ODAC champs. Celebration is on. The mob is on. And that bell is going to get a good old-fashioned ringing again. It has been quite a season for that bell here in the spring on Lakeside Drive.
Well, listen, there's so many veterans on both sides in this game. You know it matters. It's the conference championship. Randolph-Macon lost a couple of its Warriors during this fight, but listen, what a valiant effort they had this season, but Lynchburg is going to run away with it, and who else than this squad to do so? They just make you really feel confidence as you keep on watching them. It's a very nice time of the year to start heating up.
Well, we mentioned, Evan, now you await Sunday night's decision selection show. Lynchburg will find out where it's going. There's certainly a case to be made that they step right back into their backyard again. Last year they go on the road, they go up to Denison and win that regional, advance to the NCAA quarterfinals, 6th time in program history, but you have a leg up in trying to do that if you get to start right here on your home field. This place has been great to Lynchburg, obviously throughout history, but certainly this season, just one loss on this field, and that, like you said, Evan, you said it perfectly, that lit a fire under this team. This has been a different team since that Washington and Lee game. They've now outscored their opponents to the tune of 128-58 on this now 8-game winning streak, and like we said, lost only one game since March 24th.
And they've lost that one game by 1 goal. It just feels like every game they come out, they're ready. They're bringing the same attention to every game regardless of who that matchup was, and that's why you come into an ODAC championship. It doesn't matter who's suiting up on the other side. It's time to go out and win it.
Valiant effort from Randolph-Macon. They put together an incredible week, one of the more memorable runs in this ODAC tournament. And although you come up that last step short, again, so many memorable moments, knocking off Washington and Lee and Hampton-Sydney, avenging a pair of regular season losses, doing it in heroic fashion, coming down to the wire. And they made a great run at Lynchburg in this one too, but it's just tough to come away with a win on Schellenberger Field if you're not named the Lynchburg Hornets. We're going to step aside. We'll be back in a moment, and we'll let you see the ODAC celebration. We'll get, obviously, all your post-game content over there by the bell, but we'll get you right back here in just a few moments for the all-ODAC tournament teams and the trophy presentation. We'll let Tim LaDuca take that one away.
Well, listen, Sam Graham, pretty special game as well, because we hope not. We hope Lynchburg men's lacrosse is back here on Schellenberger Field, but maybe our final call together too. And such a special ride, a journey, because obviously riding out with these sports teams on the field. But partner, we just want to say we love you. Thank you for your service, and go Hornets.
Absolutely. I mean, could not say it better myself. And whether you liked me or you don't like me or you wish I'd shut up talking about basketball during lacrosse games, you watched. And you watched these guys and you let us tell their stories, and that's really what it's all about. Lynchburg Hornets, 2024 men's lacrosse ODAC champions. Stay tuned. We'll have Tim LaDuca with the trophy presentation in just a moment.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of campus recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
Athletic Director will recognize the 2024 All-ODAC Tournament Team. All ODAC Tournament Team members in attendance should come forward and be recognized. First from Randolph-Macon, number 22, Jack Smith. Number 23, Mike Allen. And number 33, Avery Tankersley. And from University of Lynchburg, Henry Merendon. Riley Hastings. Tyler Hadley. And Dylan Wolf. Let's have another round of applause for these fine student athletes for our 2024 All-ODAC Tournament Team. The Old Dominion Athletic Conference congratulates Randolph-Macon for a great season. The Yellow Jackets' record stands at 15-5 following their first appearance in the ODAC title game. And now for the presentation of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference 2024 trophy. At this time, we ask Lynchburg's team captains or other team representatives to step forward and receive the championship trophy from Brad Bankston and Dr. President Allison Morrison Shetley. The Lynchburg Hornets complete the conference season with a 14-5 record overall after capturing their 10th league title and receiving the ODAC's bid into the NCAA Division III playoffs. Here they are, your 2024 ODAC champions, the Lynchburg Hornets. Fans, the University of Lynchburg and the Old Dominion Athletic Conference appreciate your support of this year's ODAC tournament and of Division III athletics all year long. Thanks again and best wishes for a safe trip home. Time to ring the bell, Lynchburg.